Alright guys, what's going on? I've been thinking about this a lot, and I had to figure out a way to start this beginner series. Um, and it's changed the way that I'm gonna be doing it. Like the whole idea the whole idea of doing this series was when I helped a friend get started right when TGT was coming out. And we got him caught up and playing pretty competitively pretty quick. And I was like, oh, this would make a cool video series, you know, doing this just the same thing that I did with my friend. And part of what we did was when he started playing, he'd start opening his packs, and he would get, you know, certain cards, and we would build to the strengths of the cards he was opening, and kind of go towards one deck that he wanted to play. And while there's still going to be an aspect of that to this series, it's going to be more to build onto what we start with. So what's going on now is, because Blizzard is giving us Cthulhu for free and a couple of his followers for free, plus 13 free packs, which will be through quests. We'll get 3 just for logging in tomorrow. We'll get 5 for winning 2 games, and I believe 5 more for winning 7 after that. So we'll get 13 free packs, along with Cthulhu and a couple cards for free, just for opening a pack. So I feel like we don't need to take our first packs and open up and try to build decks from there. I think the smartest thing to do now, because this is for new players and what you should be doing if you're new, I feel like the smartest thing is to build a Cthulhu deck. And I'm going to explain that. We're going to go through some cards, because I've picked what I'm going to do, what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to show you the plan and explain to you the reasoning for doing that. And this could go for a few different decks. We're going to go with Druid. So we're going to go with Cthulhu Druid, and it's because it's going to be, I feel, one of the strongest Cthulhu decks. And it's also, as you'll see here in a minute, one of the cheapest. It'll be extremely, with the 13 free packs that we're getting for launch, it's going to be one of the easiest decks to build right into. And the core cards are all really cheap or free, and then you can fill it with tech cards that you get as you open them. So I do think this is the best option. So let's go into the Druid cards first. So it's probably gonna run like Innervate. Interestingly enough, I don't know if we're gonna be running Wild Growth. We may just run Darnassus Aspirant if we're able to craft it. If not, we'll be running Wild Growth, because it is a basic card, so we'll have it no matter what. But eventually it may be. Probably be running Wrath. We'll try to make those, or at least one. Probably not Keeper. I'm not sure. It's a more mid-range deck, so I don't know. Maybe one. I'm not too sure. Of course, we'll be running Swap. We'll just about have to. Druid of the Claw is a possibility, but I kind of don't think we'll need it. You know, Ironbark could be a tech card. We're talking, you know, new players here, so we'll see. But those are some of the cards that I'm looking at right now. And we just don't know what kind of tech cards we're gonna need. So that's the Druid cards. So let's just go back here and have this background music and just talk about some cards. So first, this is the card that we're gonna get for free. This is Cthulhu. His battle cry is deal damage equal to this minion's attack, randomly split among all enemies. He's 10 mana 6/6. We're getting him for free tomorrow, just for opening a pack. This is what we're going to build this entire deck around. Druid is going to have one of the best Cthulhu decks. We've seen him in action in the stream when he drops, he does a ton of damage and is probably gonna at least win a few games. He's gonna be really strong when you drop him no matter what, but he's gonna win some games for you. So we're getting him for free, and we're gonna go through some cards here, and I'm gonna tell you which ones we're kind of hoping to open, and which ones we're gonna be getting for free. So, Twin Emperor Veclor. If you're a new player and you're going through this, and you get your 13 free packs, and you open this card, which is unlikely, we're not gonna count on it. But it's one of the first legendaries that we're going to kind of work towards with our new player Cthulhu deck. One of the first ones we really want to get is this one, because he's going to be really strong in Cthulhu decks. By turn 7 in a Cthulhu deck, you should always be at 10 attack from what we've seen. And he's going to be really good. He's going to be 2, 4, 6 taunts. And that's pretty crazy for 7 mana. So that's one of the first legendaries we're getting into, but we're not going to go too into it because it's pretty unlikely we're going to get him. So one of the free cards, I believe this is one of the free cards. I know there's 2 that I think we're getting. That's Twilight Elder. At the end of your turn, give Cthulhu +1/+1 wherever he is. That is a 3 mana 3/4. It's just a good solid, mid-range 3-drop, and the longer it stays up, the more it buffs your Cthulhu. So we'll probably be putting him in. I'm not real sure. It really depends on what we open. There's another one that that I'm kind of more into as a 3-drop, but I don't know. We might have room for both. Some we're gonna definitely try to craft, and others we're just gonna hope to open. So the other one that I think we get for free is this one here. This one is definitely gonna be ran. It's 2 mana 2/3, which is solid considering Disciple, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I think right now, or going into Old Gods, 2/3s are going to be stronger than 3/2s, because there's a 3-drop that does 2 damage as a battle cry. So this card, it's definitely going to see play. It's an immediate 2/2 on turn 2, so it's going to be really strong. We're definitely going to have it in the deck. And Ancient Harbinger. This card I'm not sure of. Number one, it's an epic. We may not even open it, but I'm kind of thinking maybe I hope we open one. Just getting it out, and if it gets out, it's an automatic draw for Cthulhu. It's not. The thing is that it's not really necessary. Druid can usually stay alive long enough to where it's going to draw its Cthulhu. It may not be necessary, but it I don't know, it may work out. We'll see how it goes, or if we open it, but it's a possibility. It's one of the cards we're interested in opening. That's kind of what we're doing here, just talking about the ones we're interested in seeing and the reasons. Okay, now we've got Crazed Worshipper. There's phone. Crazed Worshipper is a taunt. It's a 5 mana 3/6. Whenever this minion takes damage, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. It is an epic. We may not open it. In Cthulhu Druid, this may be better than Druid of the Claw. It's not statted better, but it may be worth running over Druid of the Claw. That's something that we can only really find out through gameplay. But it is a mid-range taunt minion, and it's something that we are interested in seeing for sure. If we open a couple or one, then that's good. we'll test it out and see how it goes. Cthulhu's Chosen is probably gonna be our main 4-drop. We're gonna have 2 big ones that we're gonna run. This one mainly because it's a common. It's a 4 mana 4/2 with Divine Shield, which is a lot better than I think people are giving it credit for. With ping effects, it's a little easier to remove, but for a class that doesn't have them, this card's gonna 2 for 1 a lot of the times. And it also buffs your Cthulhu for +2/+2 just when you play it. And that's what we're kind of looking for. Like, as good as Harbinger was, or Crazed Worshipper, I'm sorry. As good as Crazed Worshipper was, it's an effect card. Like, it can just be, you know, polymorphed or fireballed and only give your Cthulhu +1/+1. But things like Beckoner of Evil and this card, they give it +2 just for being played. You don't even have to do anything. Just play the cards and your Cthulhu is buffed, and that's a really strong effect for the deck that we're going to be trying to run. So this one is definitely one that we're going to be running. On top of all that, it's a common, so if we don't open it, which I'm sure we'll at least open one, but regardless, if we don't open it, then we can craft it. It's 40 dust after we open 13 packs. So, I mean, it'll be fun. And that's the whole reason we're kind of gravitating towards this deck, is because it's going to be cheap to craft. So the next card is Cult Apothecary. This is not a Cthulhu card, but there's not really much healing anymore. Ancient of Lore got nerfed. We won't be opening it on a fresh account because we're going to be getting all the free Old Gods packs, and it's just not very good anymore. So we need to find some kind of healing, and I think this is going to be our go-to option. It's better statted than Healbot was, which if you're new, you're not gonna know what Healbot was, but it's better statted, and it's gonna heal okay sometimes, or heal okay most of the time, and heal amazingly sometimes. This is gonna be our healing card. If there's a lot of aggro in the meta, it's just something that we have to run, and it's a common, so we can craft it. We will see how that ends up going. We're probably only gonna run one of these guys, but it's a necessary thing. The next card is Dark Arakoa. This is one of the reasons that we're gonna be running Cthulhu Druid for the new account. This card is a 6 mana, 5/7 taunt. The battle cry, give your Cthulhu +3/+3. Jesus. So it's a really good statted minion. Its battle cry makes Cthulhu huge. So if you've played one Cthulhu card, so let's just say you open like Becklor, right? And you've played Beckoner on turn 2, and you don't play another Cthulhu card until turn 6 when you play this guy, your over 10 attack, your Becklor will double spawn. He's huge. He's great for this deck, and he's a common, so we get to craft him, or if we get to open him, great. If not, we get to craft him. He's cheap. This, like I said, that's the common theme throughout this deck, or the ideas for the deck we're gonna build, is that they're all really cheap, and it's looking to be a strong deck. Next card is Disciple of Cthulhu. It's a battle cry, deal 2 damage, give your Cthulhu +2/+2. This guy is, his body looks weak, and it kind of is, but it's a very strong card. Any 2/2 or 3/2 2-drops that come down, he's just gonna kill on turn 3. They drop Knife Juggler on 2, you drop Disciple on turn 3, done. Like he's a very strong card. And I think every Cthulhu deck is going to be running this card, probably 2 of, and we're no different. And it's a rare, so it's not the greatest, it's not like the easiest thing to craft for us, but it's very, I think it's very necessary. So we've got Doomcaller. I don't really know about this card. It looks really good, right? You know, buff your Cthulhu, and if it's dead, reshuffle it into your deck. I think we're gonna run one of them if we open it. If we don't open it, I don't think we're gonna craft. I think Disciple's probably more important. But if we open a Doomcaller, we're gonna try one of. The problem with Doomcaller, the thing that worries me about it, is you have to buff your Cthulhu, survive until 10 mana, play a 10 mana card, have it die, then play an 8 mana card, draw another 10 mana card, and be able to play another 10 mana. Like, that's a lot to happen in a game. that takes a long time. I mean, it seems like such a strong effect, but when you think about what all has to happen for you to play this and get your Cthulhu back and play your Cthulhu again, like it's crazy. I don't know. I don't know about it. Like I said, we'll test it with one of if we open it, but I'm not too sure. We'll see. The next card is Claxi Amber Weaver. Battle Cry. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, gain +5 health. Now, this card kind of gets underrated, I think, because your Cthulhu's usually not gonna have 10 attack. Like, unless you get, 2 Beckoner of Evils out, and then you're just, you're right there. But I don't think it really matters. Like, it's a good 4-drop. Even if it doesn't buff, and when it does, it just wins. Like, it's something that you can play without the buff. That's what's so good about it, is it can buff, but it doesn't have to. It's fine to drop on 4. It's not like in Dragon Priest decks. There are minions where you feel bad if you don't get the buff. Like, they suck if you don't get the buff and you have to drop them. But this isn't like that. Like, this card is good without the buff, and it's amazing with it. So this is the card. This is going to be our other 4-drop for sure. It's a rare, so it's another not expensive card. Now our next card is not a Cthulhu card. It is Mire Keeper. This is the reason that we are only going to run either Wild Growth or God, what was it called? Aspirant, Darnassus Aspirant. Yeah. So that's the reason we're only going to run one of those two. Some decks are running both, but this card is ridiculous. It's a 4-mana 3/3. You can either summon a 2/2 slime or cast Wild Growth. It's a crazy card. It's so good, and we're definitely going to be running it. So, just depending on what happens, I doubt we'll be able to craft Darnassus Aspirant immediately. So, we'll probably just be running Wild Growth and this guy. That's going to be enough ramp. Like, that'll be good. And this is awesome, because one of the problems with Druid, or one of the things that you kind of feel bad about when you're playing, is when you're ramping, but you just can't play minions because you're playing ramp spells. This guy lets you put something on the board and ramp. It's a little bit later than you usually want to, but we're trying to build up to those Arakoas, to Doom Callers, to all these bigger cards, and we're just trying to get it there fast so we can buff up Cthulhu and get him played. So then another card we're kind of looking at is Psychotron. Sludge Belcher is leaving the game, or leaving the standard meta, the standard format. This card is actually really similar. It's a little worse to silence, but it has almost the same effect as Sludge Belcher, like in the damage that it can do and what it takes to deal with it. If we end up needing extra taunts, or if we don't get one of the taunts we want, like because we don't have Druid of the Claw on a new account, if we don't get the epic guy that buffs Cthulhu, this could be one of our options, because we've got plenty of other options for Cthulhu buff cards. If we don't have Druid of the Claw, then we could go with this guy, but in most cases we're just going to craft Druid of the Claw because he is also a common. He's a better craft than this card, and I think while this card is similar to Sludge Belcher, I think Druid of the Claw is better than this guy. But he's at least one that we're looking at. This one here, Scarum Cultist, 6 mana 7/6, give your Cthulhu +2/+2. We're going to be trying to run Arakoa. This I don't really like this card, but I wanted to show it because it's one, like, if you open it and you don't open or don't have enough dust, like you need to fill a spot for one of these bigger guys like Arakoa, you can run this guy. Like, he'll work. So I just wanted to show him, because while I'm probably not going to be running him, he is an option, and I just wanted to show that. The last card that we're interested in is the Twilight Geomancer. I don't think we run 2 of these in the deck. I think it's a tech card, one of, mostly to stop aggro, and it gives your Cthulhu taunt, and that's pretty cool. I don't know how important that will be, because he's going to be huge, and I don't. People aren't going to be killing Cthulhu with minions. I mean, if you're, I don't know. I imagine it could save you a lot of games, really. Like if you were playing against aggro, like you get your Cthulhu out and you're at 10 health or whatever, and you've got a 30-30 Cthulhu. Like, how are they going to get through it with just minions? I think it might be a good tech card. Aside from giving your Cthulhu taunt, it also stops aggro on turn 2, or at least slows it down. But like I said, it's not it's not a 2 of. We don't want to give Cthulhu taunt twice, and it's not, I just don't think it's good enough to run 2 of. But I do want to try out one of these in the deck. So those are the cards that we're looking at right now. That's what we want to see out of these 13 free packs to build this Cthulhu Druid. And I believe if we get a good portion of these cards, or are able to craft a good portion of these cards, we'll be in a good spot to kind of fill in the gaps with pack openings and basic cards and stuff like that. I think if we got to fill out a deck with a lot of these cards and just, you know, filled in the rest with basics, we'd be in a pretty good spot. Like, we could actually rank up with that a little bit, and that would work out. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of what the plan is, because we're able to have a plan now where we couldn't before, and I do think that these are the cards for the deck that a new player should be aiming for. It's looking to be one of the strongest Cthulhu decks, and from what I've seen, it's also looking to be the cheapest Cthulhu deck. So definitely check out those cards. Think about how you would want to build those. Tomorrow we're going to be opening packs, and we're going to be starting to build this Druid Cthulhu deck, and we're going to see how it goes. And this is just the beginning of the series for the new players. I believe I'm going to call it the Path, because we're joining the cult of Cthulhu. And then we'll go from here on the gameplay crafting. Like I said, I'm going to show every pack opening for that account. I'm not going to open a single pack unless it's recorded on that account. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good for new people to learn. And we're gonna go through. But this is the beginning. This is what the plan is, and we can start here to get packs, to rank up, to get ranked rewards, and then we can expand into other classes and decks from this one. So that is gonna be it, guys. If you liked the video, leave a like or a comment or subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later.